Hi, hello everyone. We're from Eternal Group, and then our seminar is going to start in 1 minute. So please be seated, and then yeah, we'll. So if you're interested in the China fragrance market, like how you get into China fragrance market, or if you want to know more about the details of China economy and stuff, we will invite you to stay and listen to our presentations. Thank you.
OK 啦。我係咪落翻去先？
Testing. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, partners, and friends. Welcome to Exxon's 2026 and to our key seminar, Paving the Way to China Fragrance Market. My name is Chris. It is my great pleasure on behalf of Eternal Group to welcome you all here today. Eternal is the largest perfume group in China, including Hong Kong and Macau special administrative regions, excluding brand owner perfume groups, by retail sales in 2023. For over 4 decades, we have been dedicated to fragrance and beauty, helping international brands enter and grow in China with end-to-end support, from market entry planning and regulatory navigation to brand building, distribution, and long-term expansion. Today, Eternal manages 70 international brands, from heritage luxury houses to emerging niche labels, across 6 core categories: perfume, home fragrance, cosmetics, eyewear, skincare, and personal care. This portfolio is supported by thousands of points of sales in more than 400 cities in China, including travel retail, self-operated stores and counters, and a wide network of online channels. Together, this deep category expertise and nationwide coverage give us a unique and on-the-ground view of how the China fragrance and beauty market is evolving and what overseas brands really need to succeed. As a partner of Excellence 2026, Eternal has launched a campaign, The Eternal Path to China, to share our experience and build a strategic bridge for brands seriously looking into China. This campaign brings together this key seminar, focused industry talks, and one-on-one consultation services with one clear purpose: to turn interest in China market into informed decisions, practical actions, and sustainable growth. Today's section, Paving the Way to China Fragrance Market, is at the heart of that mission. Together with our speakers, we'll explore how to navigate regulations and compliance, how to translate brand heritage and storytelling for Chinese consumers, and how to leverage retail and IP collaborations, and how to build long-term differentiated success in an increasingly competitive landscape. So to begin, please welcome Ms. Wendy Lau, Executive Director of Eternal Group, to deliver the opening speech and share our vision for the Eternal Path to China and this seminar. Wendy, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Essence 2026 and to Milan. I'm Wendy Lau, Executive Director of Eternal Group. Today, my mission is simple: to support the fragrance industry, the creator and the dreamer who infuse art and hope into every fragrance. We are here to help ensure your inspiration reach those who will appreciate it. We believe every great fragrance deserves the right audience and the right pathway to reach it. All these 4 days, our goal is clear: to help you understand China fragrance market through transparency and actionable insight, not jargon. China's market is fast and dynamic, shaped by a new generation of consumer and fast evolving digital ecosystem. Eternal has been deeply rooted in China for over 40 years, growing from a single fragrance brand into a comprehensive network spanning offline, online, and travel retail, including our own retail brands. Through experience, we have listened closely to the brands, consumer, and regulators, developing a deep understanding of this landscape. We are a bridge between artisan fragrance brands and one of the world's most sophisticated consumer market. At this show, we are here to support you in 3 ways: share, listen, and explore. For share, our China Fragrance Landscape Blueprint 2026 breaks down consumer trends, regulations, Hong Kong's gateway, role, and market entry step. For listen, visit our consultation corner for one-on-one conversation. We measure our success by yours. For explore, we will explore collaboration tailored to your brand. No one-size-fits-all approach. Over the years, we have a privilege of introducing international fragrance brands to China brands that have grown from single city launch to nationwide recognition. Their success is our track record. Before I close, I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Essence for their invitation, and to our distinguished panel speaker from Invest Hong Kong, Shirley Fragrance Museum, and Experience 11 Limited. I would also like to thank Hong Kong Productivity Council, PwC Hong Kong, and the Loop Hong Kong for sharing their industry experts, and to all of you for joining us at our launch. Finally, enjoy Essence 2026. Explore, connect, and embrace the beauty of fragrance. May this show brings you a new opportunity and meaningful partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Wendy, for setting the stage and sharing Eternal's group commitment to supporting international fragrance brands on their China journey. Now, to offer a warm welcome from Essence to share why this collaboration is important from the exhibition's perspective, please join me in welcoming Mr. Maurizio Cavezzali, CEO and co-founder of Essence. Mr. Cavezzali, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much to be here. Many of you know me very well, so I don't want to speak so much, but I want to tell you that we are very near Eternal, and for us is a great partner for our business. So thank you very much to everybody, but in particular, I want to tell you that in November we will be in Hong Kong to make our event inside Cosmoprof Asia, but we have a special spin-off of the event with the same level of image and of quality for each brand that will come with us. For me, it's very important. We are a partner also with Cosmoprof because we need to go abroad, to go in some way more in the international market. And I think that Eternal is our best friends for this, and we can work with them very, very well. Essence, you see, this event is invented by us about 18 years ago. We were only few persons, few brands, 70 first time. Now we are more than 400, and the capacity will be only about maximum 500. We need to control the quality, and the future is only to control the quality and to go in deep to explain the culture of fragrances. This is very important also for the Asian market, and in particular for Hong Kong, because I think that the future also the group of Eternal can help us to explain this to the Asian market. So thank you very much to be here, and thank you for everybody that is going to work in this fantastic meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cavezzali. And before we move on, we would like to capture this special collaboration with a group photo. So may I invite the following guests to join me at the stage. So Ms. Wendy, could you, please, Ms. Wendy Lau, the Executive Director of Eternal Group. Please guide the guests, please. Yeah, Mr. Maurizio Cavezzali, CEO and co-founder of Essence. Mr. Stefano de Paoli, Italy Chief Representative of Invest Hong Kong. Mr. Weng Haocong Vincent, Director of Chalet Fragrance Museum. And Ms. Cindy Chung, Director of General Affairs of Eternal Group. Yeah, please come to the stage and we will take a group photo together. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And may I invite all our speakers to return to your seats? Thank you. So next, we will have a focused blueprint section from Eternal Group to give you a concise overview of the China fragrance landscape and a practical roadmap for international brands entering this market. Please welcome Ms. Sissie Yu, Corporate and Marketing Communications Director of Eternal Group. Sissie will share Eternal's blueprint for market entry into China, covering the key market trends, consumer insights, and brand building strategies to help you understand where to start, what to avoid, and how to plan for sustainable growth. Sissie, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And I'm sure everyone's very interested about China market. Okay, I'm Sissie from Eternal Group, and I'm from the Corporate Communications Department. So what I'm going to be sharing in these coming 10 minutes, a few key takeaways from our Eternal Path to China blueprints. The China market is complex, but you don't need to be afraid. You just need to remember a handful of important things when you enter the markets. So why did we create the blueprints? Eternal has spent over 40 years helping fragrance brands grow in China. And we have seen many brands struggle, not because of the brands no good, but because they missed a few critical steps in the beginning. China is not a single, simple market. Different cities have different cultures, different apps, different rules. We believe success should not rely on trial and error. So we put together a complementary blueprint today using our experience and researchers with Big Four. Today, I will highlight the parts that you may want to see when you eye on the market. Today, especially Generation Z, next please. Especially Generation Z, they actively search for niche, no-Sam scents. They want uniqueness, emotional connections, and daily joy. That's exactly what a niche fragrance brand offers. And here are the numbers that may be interested. The niche fragrance segment in China is growing more than 30% per year, faster than the total market. And more than 40% of consumers now choose a scent by mood or occasions, not just brand or price. The opportunities is huge, but you don't need to pay attention to executions. Everyone knows China is a big market, but some may overlook local details. Compliance, platform choices, cultural nuance, or the lack of on-the-ground resources. And there we have Eternals here. The full blueprints that you can download afterwards cover 4 areas: consumer shifts, omni-channels models, compliance, and localizations. So today I will highlight 5 interesting, surprising facts and hope you will have a better picture of the market. First, different cities, many consumers' realities. Hong Kong has 91% regular perfume users and a bilingual, mature audience. Macau is a tourism-driven, which is great for travel retail testing. Mainland Tier 1, 2, 3 cities each have different digital habits and scent preference. So don't forget, there is no single strategies for all cities in China. You may need to consider a framework that works to each of them. Second, well, the numbers are real. In 2025, tea scents overlook floral as the #1 searched fragrance notes in China. Niche and custom fragrance grew from 25% market share to 38%. And that's a 52% increase, growing 5 times faster than the mass brands. And China total fragrance market is growing 20% year on year. Euromonitor data in 2026 show that China's fragrance market reached 28.6 billion RMB in 2026, surpassing Japan for the first time to become the largest market in Asia Pacific. So don't forget, this is not a future trend. This is happening now. If you wait, you may actually miss the wave. Third takeaway, it is not just TikTok. Many international brands assume China is all about Douyin, which is a sister brand of TikTok. But niche fragrance brands, when they do fragrance discovery, the real engine is Red Note. Red Note users actively search for niche fragrance, no-Sam scents, and mood fragrances. The platforms is built on authentic review, storytellings, and community trust. It is perfect for niche brands. And fragrance searches on Red Note grew more than 80% last year. So don't forget, if you ignore Red Note, you may ignore where your customers are discovering new scents. Fourth takeaway, omni-channel promotions ecosystem. Now a common mistake. Brand thinks they have to choose between offline, online, or travel retail. But in China, these 3 works as one ecosystem. Offline gives you the real sense experience. That's your foundation. Online, Tmall, Douyin, and of course, Red Note give you discovery and convenience.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
And travel retails capture those high-spending travelers. So don't pick one channel. Design roles for each. Offline anchor your brands. Online scale your reach. Travel retails add the tourism moments. Remember this, your channel will work together. Last but not least, keep your DNA. Do not change your core identity, your fragrance stories, and your brand philosophy. But do adapt festival limited edition, the right KOLs, platform-specific content. More than 80% of consumers say they are willing to try niche brands, but only if the brand understands me. Don't forget, localization does not mean becoming Chinese. It means becoming relevant in China. So here we have the eternal versions of retail brand, Eternal's Perfume Boss, which is our self-owned, which is our self-operated retail brands, a multi-brand fragrance discovery destination. We are now having 9 stores across China core cities, each designed with a unique one store, one theme, approach tailored to local culture, and it serves as a launch pad for international brands to reach Chinese consumer without the cost of a stand-alone boutique. So I want to leave you with one final thought. McKinsey's global senior partners who said in 2025, localization is the cornerstone of success for foreign enterprise in China, not an option, but the cornerstone. That means localized product, localized decision, and a long-term commitment to the market. China is ready for niche story. The numbers prove it, but success will not come from copying what works elsewhere. It will come from truly understand this market, city by city, platform by platform, consumer by consumer. And that is why we are all here, to support you, to help you walk through the path with your eyes open. Okay, scan the QR code, download our full copies of Eternal Path to China anytime, and let's grow the industry together. Thank you.
Thank you, Sissie, for sharing this clear and very practical blueprint with us. Those insights will be extremely valuable as we now move on to our panel discussion. So today, sorry. The topic of our panel discussion is paving the way to China fragrance market. For this section, we bring together perspectives from Hong Kong Investment Promotion Agency, fragrance culture and education, offline retail and IP collaboration, as well as Eternal's own experience in China market. So first, let me introduce our panelists for today. Mr. Stefano, the Paoli, Italy Chief Representative Invest Hong Kong. Please give a hand. And yeah, please come up to the stage. Thank you. And Mr. Wang Haocong Vincent, Director of Chalet Fragrance Museum. Welcome, Vincent. And Ms. Cindy Zhong, Director of General Affairs at Eternal Group. Yeah, please give a hand to her. And joining us virtually, we have Ms. Wincy Tang, General Manager, Marketing and Partnership, Experience 11 Limited. So she will be joining us from Hong Kong. So yeah, we also have to give her a big hand because yeah, it's 9 p.m. right now in Hong Kong. Thank you. So this panel will be moderated by Ms. Suri Ko, the representative of corporate communications team of Eternal Group. So Suri, I'm going to hand over to you.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining this panel. Now we begin our discussion structured into 4 segments. Let's start with the segment 1, regulatory, navigation, and strategic entry. First question is for Stefano. For Italian niche fragrance brand looking to enter China and Hong Kong, how can Hong Kong serve an effective gateway and testing ground? And what resources and support can Invest Hong Kong provide? And what practical first step and can brands take to avoid common pitfalls? So the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, and thank you, Eternal, for inviting me. Thank you for everybody for the opportunity of talking about Hong Kong. Let me tell you, first of all, that I know very little about fragrances, but I know quite a lot about China and Hong Kong, and especially from the point of view of a European entering the market, right? Of course, my job is to promote Hong Kong. You know, I represent in Italy Invest Hong Kong, which is a department of the Hong Kong government, responsible for assisting overseas companies to set up, establish a presence in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, as you well understand, is not a is not only a single market, it's much more than that. It's a very strategic place from where or through which you can enter, you can expand all over Asia. Paving the way to China fragrance market. The first idea that comes to me is just too easy to be true. Just take a stand at the next Cosmoprof Asia at Texans in Hong Kong in next November, right? And that's it. That could be a very easy and simple, straightforward answer, which I confirm is absolutely yes, a good thing to do to start with. But unfortunately, it's not the only and last thing you should do, because that will be only the real first part of a long course. Let me say that China is, as you well know, a big market. It's good that I heard Sissie before saying all this information about the size. China has overtaken Japan as the first Asian fragrance market, growth and trends and so on, which gives me easy life to tell you how big is the market, to tell you why it should not be neglected nowadays. And when I say we, I mean every sector, not only fragrances, not only cosmetics, but think of the fashion, think of the food, think of any other sector. We've been living well and growing well with the European markets first, with the United States market then, but now is the time when you cannot do without taking into very serious consideration China and Asia as a whole. Can we change to the next slide just for, how does it work? Yes. Now, the beauty of Hong Kong is that it is an easy entry point. It gives you the opportunity to test the market at low risk with real easy access. Shall I give you a few examples? I think some of these examples were mentioned very, very quickly in the list before, but just to give you an idea, Hong Kong is China, but we speak English. You don't need to speak Chinese to do business in Hong Kong. You can speak English, just as we are doing now. English is the official language. And this is already very much underestimated, even by the Chinese themselves, even by the Hong Kong people themselves. They underestimate because they are used to talk in any language. It's easy for them. But when we travel to China, and believe you me, I've traveled extensively in China, it is not easy to do business through an interpreter or to do business in a very indirect way without establishing personal relationship. In Hong Kong, you can do it easily. But this is only the first step. I could go on for hours, but we don't have hours. But let me mention just a few points. In Hong Kong, we have the British common law judicial system. Up to the last step, it's totally independent. In Hong Kong, we have our own currency, which is convertible all over the world. It's the Hong Kong dollar, not the renminbi. In Hong Kong, we have free access for goods. Customs is there, but any goods can be cleared through customs in, say, 24 hours, can reach your clients' warehouses. And Hong Kong, we have free movement of capitals. In Hong Kong, we can set up a company in few hours or few minutes, if you like, without any specific license. You don't even need to pay a capital when you set up a company. You register it, no capital required. The owners can be 100% Italian or English, American, whatever. You don't need a local sponsor. You don't need a local partner. And you don't even need to be resident in Hong Kong. And even directors, companies director, can be residents anywhere in the world. So this is just to give you an idea how easy it is to do business in Hong Kong. Perhaps we can change to the next slide, and then I will close in very short because I don't want to monopolize this interesting meeting. As I was saying, the first step is to start from an easy and very strategic platform that is Hong Kong, where you can do business with China, but you can do business with the whole of Asia, where everything is easier. Let me give you a very small practical example that we are witnessing almost daily in the fashion sector. That is one of the most successful sectors for Italy. Fashion, as you understand, the retail, the accessories, the shoes, the bags. A good example is to, I mean, of course, I don't want to forget that the first important step is to choose a good distributor, because this is a must, of course. I didn't even need to mention it, right? Because if you have a good distributor, it will do 50 or 60 or 70%, but not 100% of your duty. So you still have to do your own work. A good example, as I was saying, in the fashion sector or in the retail sector, is to have a retail consultant that we can introduce, right? Among a few, quite a few, including some very good experienced Italian retail consultant based in Hong Kong. And you can set up a corner, a shop-in-shop in a good department store in Hong Kong. This would be an easy way, because the consultant may take care of negotiating the corner for you, may take care of employing the shop attendants, may take care of maybe establishing the company for you, will take care of the cash flow, the financial arrangements, the administration, everything for you. But this will be a very, how can I say, low risk and easy way of testing the market, and from there expanding into the rest of Asia. And it's not really 100% guaranteed that the department store will accept your brand. You will have to prove how good you are. But I mean, even if it takes a bit of efforts with the help of a consultant, of a local consultant, it would not be too complicated to get in. So this is just one practical example as a first step to enter into such a big, strategic, important market like Hong Kong and the rest of Asia and China. What can I say? Invest Hong Kong, I think, is probably the next one, yes. How can we help? We are here to help. I'm based in Milan. We've been here for the last 30 years or more. My colleagues are based all over the world, wherever you come from. We have almost certainly a Invest Hong Kong office there. My colleagues will be happy to help, whether you are in Italy, whether you're in France or in Germany, UK, wherever you are. And we will be happy to introduce you to our colleagues in Hong Kong, to introduce you to partners like Eterna, or to introduce you to consultants, to introduce you to potential clients, and give you a briefing, or maybe elaborate even further what I've been telling you in the last few minutes. I think this answers the question, does it?
Good. Thank you, Stefano.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now a question for Cindy from Eternal Group. What are the key regulatory requirements, compliance hurdles, and hygiene registration policy Italian fragrance brand must adjust before entering China and Hong Kong? And what are the most common compliance mistakes we need to watch out for? Cindy, please.
Okay, thank you, Sri. I think, first of all, I would like to introduce Hong Kong. For Hong Kong, it is just quite simple and quite straightforward. It's just no need any registration, no need any product registration in China. It's just follow the Consumer Goods Safety Ordinance is enough. However, for Chinese mainland market, the registration is quite complicated. So I would like to bring some core regulatory requirements to introduce to all of them. And then the first one is the supervision of the cosmetic in China. It is under the National Medical Product Administration. Normally, we call the NMPA. So for the product classification, in China, the cosmetic will separate two categories. One is for the general cosmetic, just like a perfume, fragrance is belong to general cosmetic. And then the other category is the special function cosmetic. For example, the product can whitening or SPF or anti-hair loss. This kind of product, the registration will take a long time. And then second, for the overseas brand, it should appoint a domestic responsible party to assist the brand to handle all the product registration issue. And the DRP, just like the bridge between the government and the brands, and then to assist the brands for the post-market supervision issues. And then for the also CAM compliance is very important because the label content should be comply with the China labeling management measurement. First one, safety testing also need to pass before we submit to NMPA. The testing such as the microbiological or logical testing, this should be passed before we submit to the NMPA. The next step is the submitting to NMPA for the general cosmetic. Normally, it should be submitted to the provincial level NMPA, and it's normally take 2 to 6 months to complete the registration. And then for the special function cosmetic, it should be go to the national NMPA, and then it should be the timeline normally need to take 6 to 12 months. So for the special function brands, if you want to enter into China market, it's normally need 1 year's advance to prepare the registration. Okay, next I would like to introduce some common compliance issue for the new brand when they enter into China. The first one is the use of the prohibited ingredients. You know, in China, because it have an ingredient list which will list out which ingredients can be used in China and with their limit percentage. If it is out of this list, it will treat it as a new ingredient. For the new ingredients, it will be complete a new ingredient registration first, then go to the product registration. Then the timelines will be quite long. And then second is the non-compliance packaging CAMs, such as the product description implies some medical function. For example, if the description CAM that repair damaged cells, such as this wording is not allowed in China. And then some small-scale domestic responsible party, maybe they just help the brand to complete the registration. However, when the product in the China market, it will be go to the government will have the on-site checking and also the post-market supervision. All of this need the DRP to help the brand to communicate and also to deal with all the customer complaint issue. So a reliable DRP is very important in China. And then the last one is due to the formula upgrade or the packaging update and also the change of the manufacturer, it is reminder all the brands it should be update the Chinese registration as well on time, because it will getting problems if the registration record is inconsistent with the product when you sell in China. So this is very important. So last one, I would like to have some compliance recommendation for all the brand if you want to enter into China market. The first important, the key important one is to do the ingredients and the CAM check. This is a very important process to ensure that all the things is compliant before you submit it to the government. And then second, establish advanced reaction monitoring system, also very important, because the product safety for the consumer is the key objective for the NMPA. So establish advanced reaction monitoring is a good governance during the industry. And then last one, I think to find a reliable business partner is very important. Just like the business partner can assist for all the compliance issue, product registration, importation, and the know-how to reach the China consumer, and which of the sales channel promotion plan is fit for the brands, and eventually generate the revenue for the brand. So cooperate with experienced business partner is very important in China. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Cindy, for your sharing. Now we move to segment 2, heritage, storytelling, and consumer connection. Question is for Vincent. Chinese consumers are increasingly interested in niche, story-driven fragrance. As the world's largest fragrance museum with a strong education background, how can Italian brands leverage their heritage, craftsmanship, and unique sense identity through the storytelling and education to build emotional connection with the local customers? And what role do the cultural initiative and experiential event play in this? Vincent, please.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I think before answering this question, I would like to briefly introduce a little bit about our museum. We are the largest fragrance museum in the world by record. We are 9,500 square meters, and it's a new museum actually opened last year. It's based in Guangzhou, China. And I'd like to share a little bit of the experience of how we connect with our visitors or audience in the museum. So in this museum, we have 2 exhibitions, one permanent exhibition and one temporary exhibition. In the permanent exhibition, we talk about the past 5,000 years, how people in, for example, Egypt or China or in Europe use perfume or use incense. And then we try to, and we have also a section of exhibition sharing how the 5 senses of, for example, how our noses share the experience with our touching and sights and etc. And what's innovative about our museum is that we put around 300 smelling stations across all the exhibition area. And our visitors came to the museum, we'll provide them a ID card that they can tap on each of the smelling device, and they can rate how much they like the scent that they smell. And then when they finish the tour, they will be able to get a report on the preference of the scent. And we also will use an AI to come up with a formula for each visitors. And this formula could be produced into a perfume in the museum in 2 minutes. So every visitor come to the museum will be able to learn about themselves, learn about the history, and in the end, they can be able to get a personalized perfume. So in this permanent exhibition, we try to make the whole exhibition to be very interactive and very fun, so that a lot of our visitors turns out to be spending usually 3 to 5 hours learning the knowledge of fragrance. And also around 40% of our visitors will turns out to be purchasing perfume or personalized perfume in the museum. So that's the permanent exhibition. And then the temporary exhibition, we are changing our exhibition content every 3 months. So in the permanent exhibition, it's more like a general fragrance course or entry-level fragrance course for visitors. And for the temporary exhibition, we tend to work with institutions or brands to talk about a specific topic, and it's more like a master course. So I'll give you an example. Recently, we just finished an exhibition with a local Chinese fragrance detergent brand. That brand sells around 100 million bottles of detergent every year. It's a huge brand in China. But they want to shift their goals. The goals is to try to shift their consumers' focus from buying a functional detergent that smells good into a fragrance that has a fragrance craftsmanship and story behind it. So our team curated this exhibition with the brand that we showcase how the fragrance has been for the past centuries. How does it evolve from a very elite, that's something that the elite or the royal family use into a general public's use. And then we also showcase how this brand puts a lot of effort into the craftsmanship behind the fragrance. In fact, they invited Kelly Specker to craft the fragrance behind the detergents. And we show that how they craft the fragrance and then how they bring this premium scent into millions of households. So I think back to the question of how a niche brand enter the Chinese market that can connect with the consumers, I think the key takeaway is to probably have a more immersive experience when it comes to the storytelling of a brand. And then other than talking about the brands online, storytelling online, maybe leveraging a platform like ours. A brand can come to have an exhibition and then talk more about the story behind it, and then use more immersive and interactive, fun way for consumer to connect. And I think with this kind of first step, a brand can find its probably a loyal first client base, and then they can build a community around it later on and can cultivate a long-term relationship with this community. So I think that's my answer to this question.
Okay, thank you, Vincent. Next is Simon 3, Retail, Distribution, and IP Collaboration. We have Lindsay joining us virtually. Yes. Hello, Lindsay. Thank you for being here with us today.
Hi, guys.
So if you can hear us clearly, I would like to start with the questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. How can Italian niche fragrance brand make effective use of premium mall store, pop-up events, and IP character crossover project to enter the China market? And could you share some successful cases of the international fragrance brand using offline retail and IP collaboration to attract Chinese consumer, build up brand awareness, and accelerate the market penetrations? Wendy, please.
Thank you. Oh, hi, guys. Good afternoon. It's basically evening here in Hong Kong. So I just want to keep it short and so that you guys can follow through what we've been here. So today I just begin with briefly introduce myself. I'm Wendy from Experience 11, and where the brand is from, we are basically a brand that pioneered by our founder, Dr. Adrian Chang, who is also the founder of one of the successful brand called K11, which is we are very famous for building cultural commerce in the Asia. For Experience 11, this brand we are trying to pioneer around anime, comics, and gaming IP. What we do is to bring IPs to life through offline experiences and retail concepts. We create immersive real-life real-touch experiences and products that deliver emotional value directly to fans. So this slides actually give you a sense of which strategic partners we have been working with in the IP ecosystem. And this shows the kind of long-term partnerships and cultural resources that we can activate. So for fragrance brands, that matters because market entry becomes much stronger by supporting with existing emotional universe and fan community. And the community we're speaking here, it's the anime, comics, and gaming IP industry. So just briefly, some background about what we do is that because we know this model well, and we have done it across a lot of different successful projects, from major anime entertainment IP to international recognized artists. One Piece, I'm sure a lot of you will know this IP, and what we do is to capture the right audiences here to bring the fans together and not to just create the attention, but also the real engagement and conversion. So project like this show that how we turn IP into something people can physically step into and emotionally connect with. And this matters for fragrance, I believe, because scent can be invisible, but something we can turn it into physical and something that consumer can understand and desire will be important. So of course, these sort of large scale activations will give us high visibility in the market, a lot of footfall and social conversation. So for brands, be it fragrance or other consumer brands, we are not just creating awarenesses, but also a space that consumers can experience and it become a memorable and, long-term shareable way. But beyond, entertainment IP, we also work with a lot of artist IP. Some of you may know about G-Dragon, who was a member of one legendary K-pop boy band. They also have their own IP. And we also see a lot of examples working with K-pop artists IP with skincare brand in Korea and in the Asia. So this is also some important message that going to fragrance market, that if you want to build some brand experience to the fans, and this is somewhere you may want to land at. So this is obviously the massive audiences rich and media impact that we can bring if we work with top-notch IP like that. And definitely working with IP like that can bring the brand beyond your only targeted audiences. This IP here shows that we also work with really top-notch China IP. This shows an example to you. Working with IP, we also can be very targeted to attract fans from these IPs. And speaking about this IP, we are going to have an exhibition next week in Shanghai, and we are targeting 11 million hardcore fans, and 80% were actually the Gen Z female populations. Just this is a handful of example of how we work with artists, as in drawing artists with anime IP, and we bring these into offline experiences. So why does it matter at the end of the day to fragrance brand? So fragrance is already emotional by nature. It is personal. It's memorable. However, in China right now, the market is so demanding. What the customer is looking for is not just with a story on craftsmanship. I'm not saying craftsmanship is not right. Craftsmanship is definitely something we really want to preserve and something we want to do. However, the market in China, the customers, it's exposed to a lot of varieties and a lot of different options. So what they want to do is they want to leverage some existing markets, say for example, the IP fans market, that can build a powerful bridge for the audiences. So when the fragrance meets the right IP, it becomes much easier for consumers to feel and to understand, and obviously to desire. Some basic background on China market opportunity right now for IP. China IP and ACG related consumer markets growing so fast, especially among Gen Z and Gen Alpha. So there are some basic data that the whole merchandise market arrived from ACG, it's surging. And just speaking about looking into IP licensed merchandise is already another search in 2024. And speaking about target audiences, around 80% of the consumers are basically under 34. So this generation's desire of a lot of values, emotion, connection, and the self-expression. And they are highly responsive to brands that can offer more than just the function. So what IP offers brands, it's emotional closeness. It gives a product a stronger meaning and faster connection, and obviously access to communities that already exist. Instead of asking consumers to really, discover a fragrance from scratch, IP basically gives them a familiar world they can easily step into. So at this point, the question is no longer whether fragrance has value. It's about the real question of how this value going into China that can immediately translate into commercial value. So I would say just some quick points to share in our experiences working with a lot of brands that collaborate with IP. Our approach is to translate things into something visible and shareable. So number one, definitely everybody would care about packaging. IP can already immediately give you gift sets ideas, IP-led storytelling ideas. And obviously, in another word, we can also turn something into experiences, into something intangible, from something intangible into something tangible. And obviously, when IP with fragrance, we can also create a lot of IP-led displays and exclusivities that help fragrance to stand out from the crowd. The challenge is how to enter China in a way that people immediately understand and care about. And working with IP can definitely help everybody to easily understand the brand. So obviously, community storytelling, at the end of the day, it's easier to tap into an untapped market. It's basically how brands work with IP nowadays. So in a closing note, I believe the future of fragrance in China is not about just selling the brand story, but could be also finding the right IP with the right story to resonate with your target audiences. this is my humble opinion on the fragrance market. I'm not from a fragrance background, but hopefully my humble sharing would be helpful for you guys. And I would love to stay connected with you all. I'm sorry I cannot be here in Italy today, but if you do scan me on LinkedIn, I'm very happy to be connected. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinci. Sorry for a bit overrun. Our thanks to our panelists, Stefano, Vincent, Vinci, and also Cindy for their valuable sharing. So let me hand the stage back to our MC. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you to all our speakers and panelists for your valuable insight, and thank you everyone here for joining us and your attention today. So feel free to connect with our panelists after the session, and do scan the QR code that we provided you earlier to download the full Eternal Path to China Blueprint report. And if you would like to discuss your brand's journey further with us, our booth is at Business Lounge number 8, so you can meet us at Business Lounge number 8 or like outside the conference hall. And on behalf of External Group at Excellence, thank you once again for joining us, and have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of Excellence 2026. Thank you. Thank you.